Hi guys. It's been a while. That just seems to be the opening that I always do. So keeping on theme. Again, just another update for you. The last video I think I did was in my last year of residency. So I think it's fitting now to give you an update after residency has fully completed and I am 2 months into my first job as a attending and giving you an update on that along with a life update. But for those who are still watching, who have been patient with my very poor posting, or for people that are new, hopefully some of this will be helpful for you and whatever you're trying to pursue medically or otherwise. But so I finished residency in July, and I took, and for those of you who don't know, I finished my pediatric residency, which was 3 years long after 4 years of medical school. And I started my first job in November. So I took a nice break off, which financially, if that is something you can afford, I would strongly recommend. The caveat is definitely was a bit harder to start working. I got very comfortable in my new schedule. It's amazing how quickly you can adapt to a slower, less stressful paced life. That being said, it was still rocky in the beginning, so I don't want to make it sound like it was amazing transition. I definitely had a little bumpy process, but I will explain that. I took time off, and then I told myself it was because I wanted to focus on boards, but I really just wanted the time off. And then I took the pediatric boards in mid-October and thankfully passed that exam, which was a big relief. And apparently, I didn't really look too far into this, but it's one of the harder board exams to take, surprisingly. Somebody had told us that it's one of the only ones that an AI simulator can pass. I don't know how true that is, but I think probably the reason why it's so difficult is because of all of the things that we don't see in our training, because there's 1,000,001 genetic and metabolic diseases that are just completely just rote memorization, which I think was probably the hardest thing about the test. Is it was just purely memorization. There wasn't a ton of critical thinking. So being this far into your career, being this age, and having done so many of these standardized testing, it would be nice to have a progression where the tests are becoming more and more critically, more and more about your critical thinking than just memorization, because yeah, I just feel like that would be better served and a testament to your abilities. But I don't write the exams and it's done, so whatever. Otherwise, I started my job as a general pediatrician outpatient. For those of you who don't know, you can choose both inpatient and outpatient jobs after you complete your residency training. They have just started to, not just, but in the last couple of years, have encouraged pediatricians to do a hospitalist fellowship, which is 2 years, I believe, if they want to do inpatient medicine. But because that is still a fairly new process, and obviously there's going to be a limbo period like we are in right now, where there's just not enough hospitalist trained doctors, and hospitals still need pediatricians. So I have a lot of friends out of my residency program, despite it being very it wasn't very outpatient focused, but less inpatient focused than some of the other programs that are out there. They have been able to get hospitalist jobs, no problem. So anyways, I knew pretty early on in my career that I did not want to do hospital medicine. The main reasons for that being I got into pediatrics, or I was attracted to it because of the relationship building aspect that you can do with patients and families, and especially obviously having that build up over time, I really was drawn to. I like the slower pace, and it's definitely not slow pace on a day-to-day basis, but I like the fact that I have time to work something up and I don't have to figure it out within a very short time period within a hospital stay, for example. Unless it's a very life-threatening emergency, obviously, I can take my time trying to figure out what the best course of action is. And I get to go home and do more research. I get to call families and tell them what my decision is, or if there's changes, and have a more collaborative effort, I feel like. So yeah, that is why I chose outpatient medicine. And I also have an interest in foster care medicine, adoption medicine, which I know is not something a lot of people know about because it is very, very, very niche. There is no specialty training for it. I don't know if I have mentioned in the past, but in my residency, I was able to do a month at one of the only adoption medicine clinics in the country. And I definitely got a good look at what the field can look like. That's a whole separate video of my experience there and and what happened. Long story short, there was just some differences of opinions between myself and the attending I was training under, and I knew pretty quickly that that was not somewhere that I was going to be able to work long term. Not just because of that, for other reasons as well. And so given that that's pretty much the only place that I could work, if that's the field that I wanted to pursue, I really had to reroute and think of a different option. So right now we're still figuring it out, but I think I was able to, by the grace of God, have a situation for my first job that's pretty ideal in terms of letting me develop and have time to think about what I want to do specifically with foster care and adoption. So my job situation right now is I am outpatient pediatrician, but I have a focus on building up a foster care panel over these next 2 years. So I am what you call a staff employee, which means that basically I have very minimal responsibilities in terms of what typically academic outpatient pediatricians have, because I'm at an academic institution. I work 4 days a week, full shifts, and I do half of a shift of those 4 is a triage urgent care situation, and then I have to take another extra 4 hours each month to do a evening triage urgent care shift, an evening consisting of 5 to 9 p.m. And then the rest of the days are just my private care, private clinic. So after 2 years, if I stay in this position, you get to move into a faculty position, which better pay, better benefits, but you do take on more responsibility, and what that responsibility is precepting for residents, having some more teaching in a university setting, doing QI projects, doing mommy call, which is, if you don't know, you're on call at home where patients can call you at night if they have medical concerns. And then you get a half day off of your 4.5 days, off of your 4 days to do just admin work. And then you can also, if you want, pursue a specialty clinic. And so that was what drew me to this specific job, because my goal is to build up a panel of foster care patients. And the way that I've thus far been doing that is just making it very known to scheduling and the director of the clinic that that is my focus and my passion. And thankfully we're connected to the county's foster care clinic hub, because every foster care child has to be within my county, has to go to a foster care clinic at least one time. And then so we're connected in some sort of way to that clinic. And so I am basically trying to pick up all those patients as being their pediatrician from that clinic. And then having the schedulers also be aware to put any new patients that are foster care or adopted under my care. And so my hope is over the next 2 years to build up a big enough panel of patients, and then present a foster care clinic after I switch to faculty, as propose that to the powers that be, so that I can have a specialty clinic. Whether that, and it depends on what the need is or what I find the need of this next 2 years, if it's something that I could do for all of my clinic time, which maybe not, at least especially in the beginning, or at least have a dedicated day or 2 in the week for just foster care. But yeah, that is where I'm at right now, but I'm just 2 months in, so my main focus has been to get adjusted to being a new attending and practicing on my own, and making sure I am very up to date with all of the guidelines. This is a very evidence-based practice clinic, which is also why I wanted to work here. It's also a place that was the place that I wanted to go to residency, but I never got an interview. So it's kind of bitter. It's not bittersweet. It's kind of, it's full circle, I guess you could say, to be here right now. And yeah, I do really enjoy what I'm doing right now, which it's really refreshing, because I was worried, since it's not exactly what the thing that I want to do, which is only foster care adoption. I am very happy to say that I enjoy where I'm at in this moment, and I definitely, God put me in the right place. This was the only job that I applied to. I didn't interview anywhere else, and I had the thought process of why specifically this space, obviously because of the foster care, but also because I knew that I wanted to be at a place that served predominantly Medi-Cal patients, and I knew that I wanted to be at a place that attracted more complex cases as well, which an academic institution with a lot of different specialties does. I knew, I had a feeling that that would be quite a bit more challenging than if I picked a job at a private clinic, which has a population with better socioeconomic status, but generally healthier kids as well. I had a feeling that that was not going to be something that I would feel very fulfilled at. And though these clinics and this clinic and the population is very, very, very challenging, and emotionally, physically, and has been stretching my medical knowledge beyond anything that I got in my training, I am looking at the future, and I'm seeing how good it is to be experiencing this and to be going through these challenges now rather than later in my career. And yeah, so I'm seeing the purpose behind it, which is very nice. It definitely helps to have days off and not work 60, 80-hour weeks with 1 or 2 days in a month. So that's grounding to have days off and to be able to pursue just better lifestyle habits, of course. But yeah, and also 4 months pregnant, just a life update in that regard. This is our first baby, and it is a girl. We do not have any names picked out yet, but pregnancy was something that I was very, very nervous and anxious about. It's something I've always wanted kids, and I was putting it off out of fear, honestly, because of all of the trauma I have seen medically. But praise God, overcame that fear, and praise God that everything has gone smoothly thus far. I have gotten my energy back, and the nausea is subsiding. So I feel like, honestly, a totally new person. And what else can I say? I think I'll do a separate video on a life after that transition from residency to being done with residency. It's a transition that I feel like is very not talked about at all. And it had a lot of challenges that I wish somebody would have told me, because I feel like the only thing I heard was how amazing life is afterwards, which it's true, but there was a lot of things, a lot of digging through the weeds to get there first. So then I will talk about that next. But to not make this video too long, I'll end it here. If you're watching this today, Happy New Year.